So hello, and welcome. In today's video, I'm going to reveal 2 approaches that you can start using today that are going to show you how to get to the root causes of what holds you back so that you can start healing fast. And if that interests you, then keep on watching. Today, I'm talking about how to discover what's holding you back, and I personally have never heard anyone talk specifically about using these 2 root trauma healing approaches together before, so I'm quite excited to share them with you. So first, why do some women spiritual explorers heal what holds them back while others stay stuck? And it's probably not on purpose, but when healing what holds you back is not dialed in, you spend a ton of time, prana, and money taking courses or reading self-help books or jumping from modality to modality, but you remain a struggling spiritualist. So you just really keep seeking the next new thing to keep feeling alive or to temporarily feel better. And this happens because women just keep searching and searching for a magic bullet that never really gets to heal the hidden trauma that's beneath limiting behaviors that keep you stuck. And I call that root cause healing. And just so you know, inside my Powerful Woman's Way program, I have 7 chakra-based modules to heal what holds you back. And when you master all 7, that's when you really do see incredible results in your life. But remember that trauma is any threat, any isolation, any result in physical, emotional injuries that dysregulate your nervous system, that stop your body, your mind, your brain, your spirit, your health from functioning properly. So it is not what happens to you, it's how you respond to what happens. And this is where feeling stuck happens. This is what blocks your access to your intuition, to your natural wisdom, and it causes you to shut down, or it can cause you to be hypervigilant or block your connection with other people because it really narrows your ability to see anything new, any new possibilities. And the core of trauma really is disconnection and not feeling seen, not feeling heard, not feeling known and recognized. And that's when your nervous system starts to become dysregulated and you just don't feel good. So you begin to search for ways to feel better. That's when we start doing all the things. We're doing courses, we're doing meditations, we're doing self-help books, but we're still suffering. And it's because something deeper is calling for change within you. We do all the things because you feel good while you're doing all the things, but they never get to that deeper root cause or causes. And you just keep focusing on the symptoms, keep focusing on those surface things all along. And what's really keeping you stuck is that you haven't gotten to the root cause. So once you dissolve your root causes, that's when anything becomes possible. And trust me when I say that your healing will only go so far without healing your unresolved traumas, the things that hold you back. So we need to stop looking for that magic bullet and start living trauma-informed lifestyle. And the big idea here is to stay regulated as much as possible so that you can deal with what's happening in your life. And because you're really searching for your own light, that's what this is all about. You're searching for your own light. So the big idea becomes then how to move forward. How do I move forward from that traumatized, isolated part of my reality to living a life that is much larger and connected than that smaller universe that you've come to know? The difference is that women who are living the life they want are integrating trauma as a lifestyle. So the most important question that you're ever going to ask around all of this is what is holding you back in your life. But today in this video, I don't want to overwhelm you, so I'm going to give you the most powerful place to start. In fact, the 2-pronged approach that I'm going to share is so powerful. They are both so powerful when they're done together that all the other healing actually depends on this. With these, you can start to see results immediately. So let's get started. You could be doing these things right away. So in the first half, I'll be breaking down reality because once you understand this, then you'll see the power in using the two approaches that I'll cover in the second half. Now, the thing that I want to start with is by breaking down how reality is formed. And my teacher has really expressed it in a way that opened this concept up for me in my yoga, in my meditation, in my EFT. And it's just been so beautiful, in particular, healing trauma and healing the traumas. So it starts with how your subconscious works. It's always automating things inside of your brain. It's automating things inside of your life. So let's say that something happens, like maybe you get into a fight with your partner and you have some automatic things come up for you. There might be automatic meanings you're associating with the situation, or thoughts or feelings, emotions. You don't actually think those things. They just kind of surface up. And what happens is that we go through life and we kind of get indoctrinated into certain things, or we start to believe certain things. So what happens is that the mind automatically starts thinking, okay, I guess that's the way things are. And it starts to happen as we live our entire life through those experiences, through those perceptions, and through those automations. So this is where it's really worth your time to look into your past to discover where your initial hurts have originated. This is so important because you take these initial hurts into the present moment. So you're taking the past into your present moment, and then it gets stored in your mind, your body, your emotions, your soul, your energy, and they become the very things that trigger you over and over in the present moment, and then into the future, where you can just get stuck in repeating loops because those past behaviors have this perception of keeping you safe. So this is where behaviors begin, and the automations start here. These subconscious, unconscious automations start here. Then every single time that you're triggered, you're actually re-feeling the original emotions instead of what's actually happening in this moment. And it triggers your nervous system, and you go into fight or flight or fawn or freeze. And then this is where you start to create meaning. You start to create beliefs and adaptive or maladaptive responses. And this is where beliefs begin. And this is where you start to assign meaning to what's happening. So your subconscious automatically tells you how to feel based off that original experience way back when, that original hurt. And you don't have to think about these things going on inside of your life, right? You don't have to think about it. It just happens. It's automatic. And when you're re-experiencing those old emotions from the original hurt in a new situation, you can do one of two things. You can process the memory in a way that either dysregulates your nervous system, or you can do it in a way that regulates your nervous system. And if you create those dysregulated responses, that's when you'll see things like having trouble setting boundaries or lack of self-awareness with issues. And this really is a strong defense mode that you get into with avoidance, disease, judgment, overthinking, agitation, and you can often stay stuck just repeating and repeating the patterns over and over. But if you can figure out a way to create a regulated response, you're better able to be self-aware. You can set boundaries. This is more of an acceptance mode, where you have a willingness to retrain your patterns. You can observe and question yourself. You can question your perceptions, and you have more compassion for others and self-awareness here. So this is increased emotional agility, everybody. And you can gain freedom here to move out of the pattern. You can choose differently. So I could go deeper with this, but I'm just going to leave it there for now because I want to take you to the next step. When you start to recognize these automations, these unconscious, subconscious behaviors, beliefs, and things that come up, it really becomes very powerful because you start to recognize the things going on inside of your life that are actually causing emotional pain or emotional suffering, turmoil, anxiety, stress. And you literally can look at what caused that to happen. What event happened? What word being said caused you to feel that way? Or what event you had a reaction to? So then you get to change it. You get to choose the meaning that you give things, and then everything starts to change. Because, let's be frank, we assign meaning and go through our entire life giving meaning to every single thing that we encounter every single day. And sometimes that automatic subconscious mind is going to give things meaning that cause us to have emotional pain and turmoil. And if you're aware of it, if you're conscious of it, you can actually start to change. And that's when you go, whoa, why am I thinking this way? Well, let me stop for a second and become self-aware. And then let me shift my perspective on this. Let me give it a different meaning. Now, the reason why that is so important is because whatever our subconscious creates is literally our reality. It's how we perceive the world, and that's why reality is such an individual journey, because no two people will go through life and have the exact same interpretations and meanings attached to certain events. So I can start to look at what meaning and perspective my subconscious gives me and how I can change it, how I can alter it so that I can be more powerful, I can be unstoppable, I can have freedom, I can be empowered, more positive, optimistic, the things that are going to serve me better. And a lot of women just don't do that. This concept can change your life. I mean, it can literally shift your reality. It can change the way you see the world, the way you experience everyone and everything in your life. There is a reason why I bring this up. When you understand this concept and you start to put it in action inside your own life, you have a knowing of how to shift your perspective. You have a knowing about how to shift, how to change. You can change your reality, get away from the suffering to a reality that empowers you. But you have to understand this concept that we attach meaning and perspective to everything that goes on inside our life. And most of it is happening on automatic pilot at those subconscious levels. Which is why I'm going to talk to you about, now that we've covered how we form reality and that it's mostly subconsciously driven, and based on our past experience, how we can change, how we can shift reality by bringing the unconscious to our conscious awareness. So what starts to happen, and what I'm hoping is going to happen for you today, is that you are now more aware of those automations, those subconscious automatic things that are running in your mind. And I'm trying to make you conscious of your subconscious mind. And what that's going to do is hopefully allow you to be able to shift your perspective to something better, to that something more that you are longing for in your heart, where you have more empowerment, something that is going to make you healthier, more peaceful, and happier in the long run than the stuff that really brings you down into the muck. So just to recap, subconscious is automated, and conscious means you're aware of those automatic things that are going on inside your life. That's the key to improving your life. So how do we become more aware? How do you go from that unconscious automated response to one of conscious aware responses? Well, the first step is really to look at negative thoughts that you have when you have anxiety, when you have fear, when you're in a state that you don't like being in, and look at what the meaning or attachment or perspective that your subconscious is putting on that, so that you're looking at what has made you feel that way, and then you can make yourself conscious. And this is going on because you can't change things that you're not aware of. So this is incredibly important, because I know some of the biggest mistakes that women spiritual explorers are making is that they keep jumping, like I said before, from modality to deal with automated subconscious challenges they're facing. But what really ends up happening is that they're bypassing the real issues that are beneath the surface. And when we do that, what happens is that they just keep repeating same old patterns, getting the same old results, and making zero headway to improve their lives. So know this, we can shift ourselves to a better and more impactful and empowering and optimistic life. So the question is, how do we do that? Well, it's twofold. We use meditation and we use powerful journaling to support us in our quest for awareness. This is a way to start working with those subconscious automatic beliefs and bringing them to your conscious awareness in a way that is safe, that is supported, and in a way that doesn't require you to relive anything that has happened to you in the past. So step 1 and step 2 are interchangeable. You can start with one and then do the other. It is up to you. What resonates with you, what makes most sense for how you process things. Today I'm going to show you how to do the meditation first, followed by the journaling. I find for myself that it opens up a space of very regulated nervous system, one where I feel seen, I feel known, where I am fully affirmed in myself, and then I can go into the deeper work with the journaling. Some people like to do it opposite. It's up to you. Just play different parts of the video. It's totally fine. Step 1 is the next thing that you want to do, which is a specific Kundalini meditation for self-affirmation. It partners so perfectly with the journaling, either before or after, because it powerfully affirms your grace and your mastery and your worthiness. So if you're doing it before, it's setting such a solid foundation for you to be safe as you work through your journal prompts. And if you do it after, it is like being cozily wrapped up in your magnificence. It is such a declaration in and of itself to hold conscious awareness as a guideline for your life. So remember, awareness is everything. All right, so let's jump to the studio. I'll show you how to do it. So here we are on my yoga mat, and I hope that you're sitting in a comfortable position for yourself. If you're in a chair, you can have your feet on the floor. Otherwise, just come into a nice, easy, cross-legged position. For this one, you'll want to have a straight spine, chin in, heart is open. And what's lovely about this meditation is that it is all about keeping up in spite of all the odds. And it's not necessarily about making life possible, but it is rather to make the impossible possible. So these automatic subconscious reactions that we have when we are triggered, it seems like we're never going to be able to make different choices or do things differently. Well, this meditation supports you to do that because it helps you through all of the obstacles and it helps you to live your destiny every single day. It gives you the grit, the commitment, and the consciousness that's within yourself so that you can achieve the mission of yourself. So how great is that? It's perfect. And you'll see that the mantra that we're going to work with, I want you to really listen carefully as you're saying the words. They're in English this time, where we're talking about the purity within yourself. We're talking about reality. Again, this is all about creating your reality and how you have the grace within you to hold your own space. So sitting in that comfortable pose, bring your hands into Venus lock where you're interlacing the hands together. And for women, the left thumb is on the top. So make sure you're weaving the fingers that way and just hold them gently. They don't have to be a super clenched, holding 20 pounds of anything. It's just resting gently and bend the elbows and just bring them to the side, holding the Venus lock in front of the heart. And then again, listen in gently, listen in and tune in as you are chanting the words, which are, me within me is the purity. Me within me is the reality. Me within me is the grace. I am the master of the space. So I'll put those on the screen for you so that you can chant along until you remember them. And for those who are willing, close the eyes down, have your eyes closed but focused in and up at the third eye point here. And if that's not available to you, open eyes is completely fine. We'll do this for 3 minutes together today, but you can do it up to 11 minutes. Me within me is the purity. Me within me is the reality. Me within me is the grace. I am the master of this space. Me within me is the purity. Me within me is the reality. Me within me is the grace. I am the master of the space. Me within me is the purity. Me within me is the reality. Me within me is the grace. I am the master of the space. Me within me is the purity. Me within me is the reality. Me within me is the grace. I am the master of the space. Me within me is the purity. Me within me is the reality. Me within me is the grace. I am the master of the space. Me within me is the purity. Me within me is the reality. Me within me is the grace. I am the master of the space. Me within me is the purity. Me within me is the reality. Me within me is the grace. I am the master of the space. Me within me is the purity. Me within me is the reality. Me within me is the grace. I am the master of the space. Last time. Me within me is the purity. Me within me is the reality. Me within me is the grace. I am the master of the space. Take a big breath in. Hold the posture, hold the breath, and then tighten every fiber of your body. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Keep holding your body. Exhale through the nose. Big breath in again. Inhale deep. And squeeze. Exhale. One last time. Big, big breath in. Fill right up to the top and squeeze. Exhale. And release the hands and relax down. Now take a moment to feel within. Sitting with the sensations, sitting with your thoughts, anything that has come up, just sit with your experience and let yourself experience it. Inhale. Sigh that breath out. Ah, good work, everyone. Now let's move into the journaling. Step 2. Okay, I'm back and we can move into step 2, which is to take action by working with the approach of journaling. And I call this one holding up the mirror. It's a journaling approach that really helps you to look at your automations and to bring about conscious awareness by reflecting on your own behaviors, beliefs, stories, emotions, and meaning. And now that we've had our supportive meditation, this is going to really help us to go deeper into the work with the journaling. So this journaling is about getting very clear on where things began. And when you discover this, you can access what's happening in your present situation and choose a different path of conscious awareness. And once you are aware, you're discovering the meanings, the beliefs, the behaviors that you have created from the past, everything can start to shift to that conscious awareness and stop being on automatic pilot. And that can look like changing those repeating patterns and stopping the suffering And anything that doesn't serve you can just be put to the wayside, because you get to clear your traumas and you're reframing and reclaiming your life. And this is the thing that I always say with the mirror journaling, is that clarity is what's going to give you more awareness. And that's where we're going. So how do we do it? Keep this in mind. Everything gets easier when you get out of your own way. I'll also suggest that you print off a copy. I'll put a link around the video so that you can print off a copy. I have a PDF of the questions so that you can answer them in long form with a paper and pen. We process information so differently when it's written rather than typed on a computer. And when we write it out, it actually allows us to slow down and learn more effectively and take in the experience, which is extremely helpful to this particular process. So this can be done for a particular situation or the bigger umbrella of life in general. You get to choose. You always get to choose. So find a place where you can sit down comfortably with your printout and a pen and ask yourself 10 questions. The first one is, what are 3 limiting behaviors that hold you back? 2, what are 3 stories that you tell yourself that create the limiting beliefs in your life? All right, 3, what are 3 emotions you feel as a result of the limiting behaviors and or the stories? And where does each emotion show up in your body? And you'll fill it in as, I am feeling XYZ, and I feel it in my body where or how. All right. Once you're finished that, you can choose one emotion from your list in number 3, and then go back to the first time in your memory where you feel that emotion in your body, and think about how old were you, and really work to try and find a time earlier than right now or the present when you felt it for the first time. So you're looking for that initial occurrence. And then you can work through questions 4 to 10 with each of the emotions that you listed above. One at a time though. And then think about, in number 5, what meaning did you create to explain that original hurtful experience to yourself? So what meaning did you create to explain it to yourself? And then follow that with, what belief did you construct about yourself and the situation? So you can see that these circumstances start to create stories and meaning and beliefs, behaviors, which is the next one. What behavior or behaviors did you adopt to make it through as a result of the meaning and the belief? And then it moves through. How did this become a part of your story? How do you tell that, part of your story today? And then 9, have you noticed the pattern repeat itself over and over again in your life as you get triggered again and again? And what I want you to think about is, what triggers it and or who triggers it? And so write those down. And then finally ask yourself at a soul deep level, like really tune into your authentic self and ask, are you ready and willing to break free from your pattern? Okay, I've jumped back over into the studio here, and I just wanted to share that you have learned how reality is formed today. You've looked at the importance of conscious awareness and the 2 approaches to discover what holds you back so that you can start healing fast. But if your past behaviors, those beliefs, the assigned meanings and stories and emotions are left to run your life unconsciously on autopilot, you're going to be left repeating those triggered automatic behaviors, and it's going to leave you feeling frustrated that you're still stuck and struggling your way through life. So only you can change your life for the better. And if you want to learn more healing frameworks and techniques and approaches like these, then I warmly invite you to take part in my upcoming free 3-part live training. It's called The Healing Revolution, and it's starting on February 3rd. So click the link that's around the video or go to charlenestar.com/waitlist-thr to be the first to know when I open up registration. So thanks so much for watching. Satnam, everyone. Satnam to you. Bye for now.